Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Doctor Who, this is part of the Wilderness Years, and this is the Curse of Fatal Death. I believe this is comic relief rather than Children in Need, which is what I believe Dimensions in Time was. So I don't actually recall when this is from. I just know it's like after Dimensions in Time. So it's going to be interesting because I genuinely don't know what to expect with this. Like, is there going to be actual doctors in it? Is there going to be companions in this? It's on for an hour. So it's, you know, it's a hefty thing. So it's going to be interesting to see what is actually going to happen in this. Like, what's the curse? What's the fatal death? It's going to be so strange to watch this. Like, I'm hoping there are, like, characters, doctors from the classic series in this. Otherwise, I'm going to be a bit like, oh, that's a bit strange. Like, what's actually happening here? Like, what is actually going on? So I'm just going to get straight on into this. Let's go.
You are piloting your TARDIS into a deadly trap.
Look at the
and even
central
you
column.
will not suspect until it's far too late.
Press all the buttons.
If you're going to spy on me, you really should turn the speaker off.
My dear Doctor, after our many centuries of conflict, naturally I wished you to know that your certain death is now.
We do love a bit of Jonathan Pryce, I have to point out.
Meet me on the planet Tersurus in 2 hours relative time. And do try not to be late.
Where are we, Doctor?
The planet Tersurus. Once home to the Tersurons. The most kindly and peace-loving race I've ever encountered.
Ah,
And yet the most shunned and abhorred species in all history.
why?
They could communicate only by precisely modulated gastric emission.
Oh, no.
Oh, that'll be why.
Planet of the bottom burpers. So what happened to them?
They discovered fire.
Oh!
No doubt, because no one has set foot on this planet for 100 years, you thought you had escaped my traps of death. But you forget, Doctor. I, too, have a TARDIS. When you told me to meet you at Castle Tersurus, I simply traveled back in time 100 years.
Oh!
And I bribed the architect. Say hello to the spikes of doom.
Say hello to the sofa of reasonable comfort.
Did he go, like,
Naturally,
further
I
back?
anticipated your journey back in time, and so I traveled slightly further back and bribed the architect first.
Or so you think. Naturally, I anticipated your traveling back in time, so I traveled back in time to an even further point. And I bribed the architect first.
Is this just going to keep going on?
Well, naturally, I anticipated your journey back to an even earlier point.
Doctor, will you stop showing off? You've got something to tell the Master. Just tell him.
I recently calculated that I have saved every planet in the known universe a minimum of 27 times.
What?
But you know, I have grown weary of all the evil in the cosmos, all the cruelty, all the suffering, all those endless gravel quarries. And so I have decided to retire, settle down, and get married.
What? I shall travel back in time once more.
That was one hell of a move.
Buy the architect an expensive dinner. And suggest he fits a lever just here and a trap door leading to the vast and disgusting sewers of Tersurus. Exactly there. Prepare for 500 miles of fear and feces. Goodbye forever, Mr. and Mrs.
Doctor. You got the feces fun.
Since you appear to have fallen down a sewer, you won't be able to have dinner with the architect. Although, in fact, he's already eaten, because I had dinner with him and suggested he place the trapdoor right here.
Not so fast.
How can he be here? He just fell in the sewers. And why is he so much older?
Because it's taken me 312 years
To get out of the
climb
sewer.
out of those sewers.
And then naturally you found your TARDIS and travelled back in time to the present day.
I did not come alone.
Of course he didn't. This has got Stephen Moffat written all over it. Like, this is crazy. There's actually quite a lot of them.
After 3 centuries of climbing through those sewers, only the Daleks would accompany me. Observe, Doctor. I am no longer merely a Time Lord. My body has been augmented by superior Dalek technology.
So what can you do with that then?
Plunge.
Exterminate! 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 No! After 312 years of climbing through the biggest and most disgusting sewers in the cosmos, climbing those huge, squelchy mountains, after a lifetime of only dung slugs for food and the occasional company on those long, lonely nights. After all that, I'm going to kill the Doctor myself with my own bare hands.
One hand.
Die, Doctor! Die!
Don't worry. I believe he knows the way out.
It won't take 312 years this time. Oh, shit. Literally.
624 years in a southern sewer.
This way.
After them, you fools! Get them!
Oh, hell. 936. They've brought back the whole let's run around the same corridors
They
thing.
look the same.
Once again, I have been augmented by superior Dalek technology, rejuvenating my physical form and granting me even more power over the cosmos.
And I notice breasts.
Yes.
They're not breasts, okay?
Prepare to operate the
Just going to explain everything later.
5 Dalek minutes.
I obey.
How long's a Dalek minute?
The master will be exterminated when he has served his purpose.
As always, that's what Daleks do.
You have betrayed the Daleks. Exterminate! Exterminate!
Fools! We're doomed!
Repair the Zectronic beam!
It is beyond my ability. Only the Doctor can do it.
Help him. He's dying. Yes, my darling.
I didn't even see how he ended up on the floor.
You've killed him.
I think not, my child. The miracle of the Time Lord.
Oh, sorry about that. I thought I'd just slip into something more comfortable. Result, cute, sexy, and look in the mirror handsome.
Jesus.
I remember you, don't I?
He is
You
handsome,
still
though.
fear me, Doctor?
You're the camp one.
I'm not camp.
Oh, yeah. Nice tits.
Bumps.
I think in my new body I'm going to be particularly good at rewiring.
The way he those balls smashed.
Bugger.
Doctor?
Ah! You're my fiancé, aren't you? Oh, dear.
Can we get Richard E. Grant
I'm a
back?
bit shy of girls now. Oh, the problems of changing personas. So unpredictable.
Doctor, look at me.
In a minute.
You don't want to try again, do you?
Yes, probably not a bad idea, actually. Shouldn't be too much of a problem.
She's gonna keep telling it to
Actually, I
different
think the
people.
problem's probably located in this area.
Doctor.
Can we get Richard E. Grant back?
That was a discharge of pure Zectronic energy.
Oh.
Even a Time Lord cannot survive its terrible power.
But he can
Well-
just change again, can't you, Doctor?
Afraid not, my dear. Zectronic energy. Too powerful. I'm afraid this is the end. Look after the universe for me.
So this is after
A
96.
lot of work into it.
He was the best and bravest of all my foes. From this day forward, I will renounce evil and follow the path of goodness to honor my fallen foe.
He
What?
was never cruel and never cowardly. And it'll never be safe to be scared again.
Emma, look. I've got etheric beam locators.
No, Doctor. I'm afraid those are actual breasts.
Are you sure? I think I can see the on switch.
No, Doctor, we have to face facts. You've come back to life, and this time, you're a woman.
Really? Well, never mind. We can still rattle around the universe, fighting monsters and saving planets. What could be more fun? My best friend by my side, my trusty old TARDIS, and of course, my sonic screwdriver. Oh, look, it's got 3 settings.
Doctor, I have to say, you are rather gorgeous.
I'm not bad, am I?
She's amazing.
To think of it. Tell me, why do they call you the Master?
I'll explain later.
This was such a bizarre thing to watch. Like, it's an hour because there's like this behind the scenes thing after it that I've just finished watching, but I don't think I'll probably include it. But it was just like such a strange thing. It was actually quite funny. Like, I'm not the biggest Rowan Atkinson fan. Like, I despise Mr. Bean. I'm not a Mr. Bean fan whatsoever. And my favourite thing about this was that it just kind of, after he kind of regenerated into Richard E. Grant, I was like, oh, I'm all into this. Like, this is amazing. But then to see them all regenerate so quickly afterwards, I was a bit like, oh man, that's actually quite sad because I wanted Richard E. Grant to stay longer. I wanted Jim Broadbent to stay longer as well, actually, because Jim Broadbent being all flustered and not knowing really what was going on was probably like one of the best things about this. Like, he was so shy. It was so incredibly sweet. And then I loved seeing Lummers. I love Lummers. And when she was saying let's, like, you know, fight demons and like travel the galaxy, and I was thinking, oh my God, just please bring back Sapphire and Steel, please, with this lady. That's all I'm begging you for. My favourite thing about the entirety of this, though, was 100% Jonathan Pryce. He was fantastic in this. I loved him. He would probably make an incredibly good master, like, in actuality, rather than just as part of a comic relief thing. This was, like, an interesting one because this obviously was post the Paul McGann film, because Rowan Atkinson said this is, like, my 9th body. But, like, we didn't really get kind of anything other than that kind of reference to the movie. And I just thought it was like, I could understand why Rowan Atkinson was in it so much once I saw that Richard Curtis did this. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense as to why Hugh Grant was then in it as well. But I don't know, like, just having Richard E. Grant in it, especially like with his connection to Withnail and I just thought was like a clever little thing to do. This was such like a bizarre thing. I'm quite sad it was only like in 2 parts because I thought the whole thing would be for an hour rather than 40 minutes of this just being this behind the scenes documentary of the making of. But I'm going to sign off and say thank you, and I will see you guys later. So thank you.